Well, good morning, everyone. It is the appointed time for the MAPS 3 Citizens Advisory Board meeting for February the 22nd, 2024. I believe we have a quorum. Do you agree? So we have a quorum, so let's call the meeting to order. You have been provided copies of the minutes of our preceding meeting on December the 21st. Are there additions or corrections? It has been moved by Bob Nalen and seconded by Zane Boatwright that we approve the minutes as submitted. Is there further discussion? Cast your vote. The motion was approved. That brings us then to item B under Roman numeral 2, the revenue and expenditure report for the preceding periods. David?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have in your packet the MAPS 3 revenue and expenditure report for the period ending January 31st, 2024. On the revenue side, $1,153 for the month, fiscal year of $519,784, and a total of $838,935,874. If you'll recall that revenues are reallocations and interest at this point. On the expenditure side, for the month, $538,108, fiscal year of $6,566,650, and total of $804,408,791. You also have the budget and obligations report in your packet, and I'll try to answer any questions if you have any.
Questions for David? Does it scare you guys that we have $1,000 coming in? We spent $804 million. You all feel good about that? All right. Well, great. So we're doing okay. All right. Shall we receive this? It's been moved by D. Morales that we do, and seconded by Bob Nalen. Is there further discussion? Cast your ballot. The motion is passed. That brings us to item C, David.
Item C.
That is the resolution approving change order number 17 for the MAPS 3 Senior Wellness Center.
Sorry, I lost my place here. So recall that this project is open. This is just finalizing a few things that have come up as we wrap the project up. So there's a sidewalk modification of $6,677. And then there was some sod that needed to be added on the backside of the trash enclosure. So some pretty minor things there, totaling $7,877.
All right. Questions for David?
Are we done?
That should wrap us up, yeah.
Okay. Zane Boatwright has moved that we approve this change order. It's been seconded by D. Morales. Is there further discussion? Cast your vote. The motion has been approved. That brings us to item D, another change order.
Item D is recommend approval of resolution approving change order number 14, project M3H005, MAPS 3 Senior Health and Wellness Center number 4, 13660 Southwestern, an increase of $36,926, and authorizing the use of excess Oklahoma City capital improvement sales tax collections and/or interest to fund change order 14. Some ongoing things out there. Signage was left out of the project, $17,000 for all the interior signage. Shower valves needed to be moved. Code changed in the interim of when we approved the project and finishing construction, so that ADA says that if you turn on the water, you have to be able to stand away from the stream so that you don't get that cold or hot water straight on you, which I think we can all appreciate. So those valves needed to get moved. And then there was some door hardware that was inadvertently left out. So again, some fairly minor things here, $36,000.
Questions for David? David, why don't you take a minute to kind of bring us up to date on what the target date is for this, for since this is our last project to complete.
Right, so we're looking at mid-April or so for substantial completion, which means that's the point of the project. They're getting really close. Lots of activity out there right now.
Any other, Bob?
Yeah, just a question. What's the process for reconciling the overage that the contractor is responsible for because of the delay in construction? We're going to be a year past the completion date.
Yeah, it's clear in the specifications that there's a liquidated damages amount of $1,000 a day. I think some of that will still have to be negotiated a little bit, but the process is that we don't have to do this very often, but we'll just go through the accounting of it and settle it with final claim.
I wasn't sure if we would then have to actually collect that from the contractor or if there were payments yet to be made from which that could be deducted.
Yes, there's still a balance. We always hold a retainage of about 2.5%.
I wanted to mention that date to the members of the board because in talking to the mayor this week, he's thinking about having some type of a ceremony centered around that would conclude our service, and a thank you ceremony of some kind that would be held, if not in conjunction with the ribbon cutting for MAPS 4, but at least that would be kind of the symbolic end to our service, and he's planning an effort to conclude that in conjunction with the finishing of this. So I wanted David to mention the time to you so that you might be looking at your calendar thinking about, we'll probably have some kind of an event in May when this project is ready for the ribbon cutting, that we'd hope that everybody could get on their calendars, and we probably won't know the exact date until we see how this moves along. But that would kind of be kind of the last hurrah for us. Okay? All right, so middle of May or so, be thinking about that with your calendar. Any other questions for David? All right, that brings us then to Roman numeral 3, any new business? Oh, do we need, yeah, I guess we do. I guess I got excited there. All right. It's been moved by Zane Boatwright that we approve the change order and seconded by Michael Dover. Is there further discussion? Cast your vote. The change order's been approved. That brings us then to Roman numeral 3, any new business? Any member of the board have new business? David, any new business for you or staff?
No, sir.
All right. Item 4 is the advisory board subcommittee reports. Is there a subcommittee that wants to be heard this morning? Zane.
I will. It's not a subcommittee report, but the last trail extension that we're doing along, Air Depot there out in front. Project's going along pretty well because I drive by it twice a day. But yeah, they're doing really well.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Any other? All right then. That brings us to David's update. Anything else you want to add to what you've told us, David?
Well, Mr. Boatwright hit on the trail that's under construction. It's going well, and the improvements on Katy Trail. I just want to add that MAPS 3 had some money in the Fairgrounds Coliseum, and it's going exceptionally well. If you go by there, you can see that they're starting to put the roof on, so it's really starting to take shape. Other than that, everything's good.
All right. Any other questions for David? What's the target date on the Coliseum?
Summer of '25.
Summer of '25. Okay. All right, no other questions for David. That brings us to any comments by the board. Bob, how's MAPS 4 going? You guys doing okay?
You know, as we experienced with this board, very slow for the first year, but now there, you know, lots of activity going on with operators being designated, design work underway on lots of the projects. So there's an awful lot to be done on MAPS 4, but it's headed in the right direction.
Now, David, we will be handing off the project regarding the train station to the MAPS 4 board when we terminate our services, right?
Yes, sir. I think that it'll start construction a little bit after the period that you're talking about for the celebration. So it'll probably just go straight to council and not to MAPS 4, but just straight.
Okay. All right. Any other comments? Well, then, is there any other business? This may be our most efficient meeting ever. I think we're getting better at this after 14 years. Getting a little better. Then I'm going to call the meeting adjourned. Thank you for coming today. Appreciate you coming.
Sorry to drag you.